You're listening to the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast, episode 115. A conversation I had on the Mamamia podcast a while ago, where we talked about how to tackle big tasks, the key to studying smarter, and the 3 hurdles facing procrastinators. I'm Katie Jones, and with over 15 years in education as an award-winning high school teacher, international external examiner, and as a study coach, I've helped thousands of students skyrocket their results and confidence. And this podcast is where I share all my insights, tactics, and tips with you, the parent, so you can help your hardworking teen get happy, smart, and successful in their study, and have you both enjoy the journey along the way. This is the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast. Hello, VIPs. How's things? I hope you and your teens are doing really well. And before we dive into this episode, I just want to let you know that I have something new to share. As you probably already know, my goal is to have every student and parent and teacher aware of how assessment and study really works, to take you behind the curtain and deliver proven strategies and techniques to have teens really achieve their best possible success with a lot less of the stress. And to do that, I'm lasering in on all things exams, because exams are the thing that I see causing the most stress to students, and I also believe are the biggest opportunity to make a difference right now to so many students and their parents and how they think, feel, and perform with exams. So these past couple of months, I've been working on being able to offer live online school presentations. These are information evenings delivered live by me to a school community via webinar that parents and students can therefore attend from home. No need to leave the house and go to the school lecture theatre or auditorium or whatever it is. And these are where I'm going to be sharing as much as I can that'll help students throughout high school with their exams and assessment, both the critical concepts and insights and the practical steps and strategies, because we all know this is not just about results, grades, marks, scores, rankings. This is about boosting students' confidence, having them experience the success that they're truly capable of, building their self-belief, and making the whole journey throughout high school and assessment and external exams a lot smoother and a lot less stressful. And I want to help students turn this into a strength rather than something to be feared, stressed, and anxious about. And alongside this, I also have a teacher professional development full day workshop so that your team's teachers can benefit from the strategies and insights of being an external exam marker without having to do all of the external exam marking. Now, I've actually had and delivered this for quite a while now, kind of just doing it quietly on the side when I've had inquiries from schools. But I think it's time to publicize this alongside the school talks so that it's really the third part of that parent, student, teacher team. So if you'd love to have me speak at your school community and have your teens, teachers all have the insights of an external exam marker, have all of their peers, all of their cohort on the same page, up-leveling and succeeding, then look out for a couple of emails from me next week. So the launch date for this is Monday the 7th of October, and I'll be taking bookings right away, first come, first serve, for dates and availability. I don't think that I'm going to suddenly get fully booked. That is not what my plan is, but I do know that there are going to be some times and dates that are going to probably be more popular. So if you're not on my email list and you would like to get this information, then just email support@rocksolidstudy.com and ask to be added. Or you can add yourself and get my free parent guide in the process by going to www.rocksolidstudy.com/guide. So more to come on that very soon, but I wanted to give you a sneak preview here. Now let's dive in to this episode where I share my conversation on the Mamamia podcast, including what not to say to a stressed student. Let's go.
Now we are moving into another conversation about studying and school. Hardworking teens going into exams, because they are like heading towards trials and then it's all HSC and it's all anyone's talking about, put a lot of pressure on themselves. And then there's obviously pressure from their peers, maybe their teachers and their parents. And it's a lot. It can be a lot. We're always hearing every year more and more about the pressure of the HSC, the competitive stress that kids can find themselves under. So how, as parents, do you support them through all that, through the stress and the procrastination and the panic, without being pushy or nagging or too far removed?
You cannot.
That's a lot. That sounds like a perfect person. We have got somebody to talk to us about this. Katie Jones is from a place called Rock Solid Study, which helps kids to study. And she's going to give us some really practical tips and advice for our kids and for us about how to survive exam time. Hello, Katie. Welcome to the show.
G'day, Katie.
Hi, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
So first of all, I want to ask you about the fact that we're constantly hearing how much stress and pressure teens are under for the HSC. Do you think that that's a real concern or a little bit of a beat up? And how do we lighten the load for stressed kids?
I think it is a real concern because I think, no matter how much we know as adults that, exam results are not the be all and end all. They do not dictate the rest of our lives. That just isn't the experience that students have, where they are in their life. They do, especially those students that they do just want to do well. And I think it's a hard balance to sort of play down, the level of importance, but without, dulling their fire and the fact that they do want to do well. We don't want to sort of, put that down. We want to still have them motivated. We want to still have them, strive for their goals, but we want to be able to help them reach those goals.
And we don't want them to be stressed out of their minds doing it.
Exactly. So it's definitely, for me, it's all around very practical, actionable strategies and techniques that will help students to alleviate that stress for themselves. It's not just about telling them, okay, look, don't worry, you don't need to stress out this much. I used to get told as a student, well, just stop working so hard.
Yeah.
That was not the answer for me. I needed someone to go, okay, well, and study smarter, not harder. I'm like, okay, I want the how. Like, give me something that I can do then, because I don't want to just go, okay, my grades don't matter.
Yeah, and also because like the sort of the cliched comments like study better, not harder, and you need to relax and be happy, and hey, don't get stressed, all those sort of things. They're just they're literally white noise for teenagers, aren't they? Sort of, and they don't help. They actually they hinder.
No, we want to give them some actionable strategies.
Yeah. Okay.
How hands-on do you think parents should be in this process?
I think it can be tricky for parents because like most parents that I work with and that I speak to sort of say, hey, look, I want to help, but I don't feel like I really know how to. We've got parents who are, trying to learn the latest Shakespeare text, and they do want to help, but it's not necessarily about trying to tutor them, become an ATAR expert. It's about helping students with those skills of maybe breaking down a large task or understanding how to dissect a question. And we weren't taught that. I certainly wasn't taught that as a student. And I don't think parents haven't been taught that. To be honest, I never even really fully understood those sorts of things until I did exam marking, even not necessarily as a teacher. So I think that's where that comes in, is helping students to attack things or tackle things in a more strategic and much more efficient way. I think a lot of students are not necessarily working in the most efficient ways. And again, that comes from, historically, we wrote out lots of notes and that's how we did things.
For your business, and as you said then, like you're actually an exam marker, should the kids be sort of getting the help from their teachers to work out how to answer the questions in exams?
Absolutely.
So that's the process. It's not about learning everything about biology. It's like targeting the stuff you need to know to get the best possible result. Is that right?
Yes, it's exactly that. Well, it's really about dissecting the question and understanding exactly what the question is asking, and then what does that therefore demand in terms of how they're going to be marked. And let's just also put out there that it's not that we're just all about those kids getting this is exactly how you get to more marks. And parents don't want to be, that's not what they want to be drumming down their throats. But we want them to feel that success from getting the marks that they want. Yeah. We want them to feel the confidence and that self-belief and that pride that, hey, look, now my effort is actually paying off. Or I think a lot of it is feeling in control. It's that feeling of helplessness when they walk into an exam and they're like, I have no idea what they're going to ask. I have no idea what they want in this question, or how to get across all this knowledge that I've stored up. So absolutely, we want to help them dissect the wording of questions, absolutely understand what is it really asking me and how do I put across my knowledge in the way that I always submit as like they want to be able to show they know. You know, I know this stuff. How do I put it across in the way that gets me the marks?
And that's one of the things we always say to the kids is it's almost to a being painful is just read the question.
Yeah.
Don't forget to, like literally, and they go, oh, duh. And you go, no.
Duh, I did read the question.
Yeah, but like, and within every question, there's like 10 questions. And the trick is, all right, so what are they, so you said you've got actionable things that parents can use.
So if I'm a parent which is listening to this show and I've got a kid who's in year 12 and I don't think...
I've got a kid in year 12.
Oh, you do have a kid in year 12.
Kid.
and they're locked away in the room a lot of the time, but you're not necessarily certain that they're being that efficient in their study. What is your number one tip?
My number one tip overall is absolutely about dissecting that question. So rather than storing and learning more and more and more subject knowledge, writing pages and pages and pages of notes, because I think that gives students a bit of a false sense of security sometimes. And sometimes for parents are like, look at all these notes they've got. They must, they're going to do super well. And that would be lovely if that were the case. It would absolutely be about getting the skills. I call them command words. So this is something very nitty gritty. This is the exam geek in me. But this is one of the things that I think makes the biggest difference to every student that I work with and makes a huge difference to parents being able to help their child. If your child ever comes to you and says, like, I don't know what to do for this question or help me write this essay, the best thing they can do is, and it needs no subject knowledge, is to identify the command word. Sometimes it's called a cognitive verbs or directives. The easiest way to think about it is the command word. And it's those specific verbs in the question like describe or state or explain or analyze, because that instantly then tells them, okay, how do I need to be putting across
what
this
do they want me to do?
What do they actually want me to do? And then, of course, the second part of that is knowing how to do it. But that's probably a lengthier answer.
Can I ask you, in your experience of working with parents and kids at this time of year and focusing on the HSC, what if you've got the problem that your kid, they're smart, but they're just not studying that hard? What have you seen work to motivate kids to fulfill their potential and be their best selves?
Yeah, and all of those other phrases that we hear all of the time, and we want to make them come true, for sure. It always comes down to, there are 3 root causes why students either procrastinate or find it hard to be motivated. And sometimes, even the hardworking students I've seen them, like, they'll say to me, like, not getting this task done, I don't know why. There's always 3 reasons why students aren't really doing something. And the first reason is they don't really know what they need to be doing. So either they don't really understand the question, they don't know what they should really be doing for this task, or if it's something like revision for exams, it might be like, I don't really know, like, what I should be doing to revise. What's the most effective way to do this revision? What does that really look like? The second thing would be how to do it. That whole read the question. I know what the question is asking me, but maybe I don't know exactly how to write a clear and detailed analysis, let's just say. It's the how part. So they know what to do, but they don't know how to do it. Or thirdly, and this is a thing that, starts to happen over time a little bit, is I don't really feel like this is going to pay off for me. Like, why would we put in a lot of time and effort if we don't feel like it's going to pay off? If they previously have put in, effort in earlier year groups or in previous, assignments or exams, and they haven't seen the results. So that's the thing that can start to sort of happen over time.
And what's your best tip for parents who, back to our original conversation, who are seeing a lot of stress in their kids about this?
Well, maybe even simpler. How much stress? Because there should be stress, right?
It's an anxious time.
Yeah. How much stress should there be?
Yeah.
Like, what's a reasonable?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, because I talked to a student recently on a coaching call about this, because she was like, oh, I did everything you said, and I still did feel like a little bit stressed and a bit under time pressure. I'm like, that's completely normal. We're all going to experience some level of stress and feel a little bit under pressure when we've got, essentially we've got that time pressure. We know that this is something we want to do well in. So that is completely natural. And I always say, like, a little bit of stress is actually good, because it helps us focus. It raises our energy levels. It can make us a lot more productive. So it's not that we want to completely eliminate that or eradicate it, but we want it to be at a manageable level. And I think one of the best ways to deal with that is, first of all, decide, like, which one of those 3 things is the root cause of, any lack of motivation or procrastination. Figure out which one of those is really the current hurdle. And I would sort of say, very often there's that overwhelm factor. And I remember this has not come from me, but I remember someone saying it and it really stuck with me, was that stress isn't having too much to do. It's not knowing how we're going to get it all done. And I think that again comes down to that how part. It's like, how am I actually going to tackle this? What do I need to do to be able to succeed?
That's very true for
It
adults.
is.
And what happens with it?
It's true for all of us.
And what happens with the kids is that the teachers. So we've just had the parent-teacher interviews, which were great, and they go, they should be doing 2 hours a day for pretty much every subject, which turns their working, and you sort of, and I sit there and go, and I don't know whether they're sort of taking the piss.
That's a lot of hours.
Yeah, no, but that's a generalisation.
It's
But
that many hours.
whether they're thinking, I just want them to do well in this subject. Katie, let me ask you one final thing for down the track.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for the results?
Yeah.
We can try and get them G'd up for the exams and go, but is there something is there a seed we can sow now for when the results come, so we go, look, regardless of what happens, I love you, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's where it does still tie into that preparation, because do they feel like they have gone into it, being prepared? If there's that missing piece of the puzzle, which is that application part, like applying their knowledge, if we can get that plugged, then they really will have truly, given it their all. And I think that is all it comes down to. Like, whatever happens, you absolutely have, done your best, and it will not dictate the rest of their lives. We do know that as adults. And I think that, we all reflect on that and we look back on those things. I was that hardworking student, and I look back and go, oh my goodness. But I think that is, in terms of the results there, that is what it comes down to. It's about their work ethic. It's about the lessons that they learn from that. And, I think that also ties in with why parents do want their kids to do well. It's not necessarily because of the results, because like we said, we know that they're not the most important thing, but we want them to have that lesson in life that their hard work or their effort does pay off. When they put in effort, it will pay off for them. And I think that's the lesson we want to get out of those results for them.
Thank you so much, Katie. It's been really good to talk to you. We will obviously put all the details for Rock Solid Study in our show notes. And have a happy exam season yourself.
Yeah,
Katie.
good on you, Katie. Thanks very much.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Thanks, Katie. Bye.
See ya.
If you're ready to have your teen achieve their best possible results with less stress, then I want to invite you to enroll them in the 10-week Grade Transformation Program, where they're going to learn the key concepts, skills, and strategies to catapult their performance in assessments and exams. It's risk-free. They either achieve bigger and better results with a whole lot more confidence in 10 weeks, or we refund you in full. Just head over to www.rocksolidstudy.com/program, and I'll see you there.